When I graduated from college, I couldn't find an internship, so I submitted my resume online and was hired by a small couple-owned shop. To this day, I vividly remember the lady who interviewed me, Mrs. Wang Xining. She stood at 170 centimeters, weighing around 55 kilograms, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, a typical slender beauty. As for the boss, Kong Jianing, he was 180 centimeters tall, slender, and wore gold-rimmed glasses, giving him an elegant appearance. I couldn't help but admire the perfect match they made. However, in my third month of working there, Kong Jianing's original wife unexpectedly showed up, leading to a dramatic confrontation between the original and the third party. At that time, online shopping was just gaining popularity, and Wang Xining, besides being beautiful, was skilled in making clothes. After getting to know Wang Xining, she told me, making clothes is our family's traditional craft, and shared her love story with Kong Jianing. Due to her striking beauty, Wang Xining had too many admirers during her school days, making it difficult for her to focus on her studies. Eventually, after finishing high school, she dropped out and took over the family business. Their ready-to-wear shop was located on the busiest commercial street in the city, not only making clothes but also providing services like altering pant cuffs. Kong Jianing often came to her house to cut pant cuffs and make suits. Over time, he started a romantic relationship with Wang Xining. After solidifying their bond, Kong Jianing, being from the south with a quick mind, proposed the idea of closing the ready-to-wear shop and renting a place to open an online store. Initially hesitant, Wang Xining's parents were convinced by Kong Jianing's strong execution skills. In just a week, he registered the store, uploaded a few clothing items, and within half a month, they had over 10 orders. So, Wang Xining's parents closed their store, rented 2 apartments in their residential area, one for making clothes and the other for the online store. When I joined, the store had been running for over a year. The family of 3 focused on making clothes, while I and 2 other girls handled customer service. Kong Jianing was in charge of store operations. Although it was a couple-owned shop, the number of orders was overwhelming, and we often had to work overtime, but the production couldn't keep up with the demand, leading to a few complaints. After discussing with Kong Jianing, Wang Xining decided to hire 4 or 5 people who were skilled in making clothes, both apprentices and experienced workers. When the recruitment information was posted, many people came for interviews. My colleagues and I took turns receiving the interviewees. One day, as we were working as usual, we heard a knock on the door. I got up to open it, but this time, it wasn't just one person, it was 5. Without waiting for me to speak, they walked straight into Kong Jianing's office and took him away. This sudden turn of events left us 3 girls bewildered. Another colleague reacted quickly and rushed upstairs to find Wang Xining. When Wang Xining came downstairs and learned that Kong Jianing had been taken away, she made a phone call. In a furious tone, she shouted, "You just want money, right? How much do you want this time? But this is the last time I'm giving you money. Take the money and divorce Kong Jianing." After hanging up, Wang Xining went upstairs to gather money from her father. When the money was ready, she called the other party, but there was no answer. The whole afternoon, Wang Xining paced anxiously in the house. Until the end of the workday, she still hadn't received the anticipated call. The 3 of us decided to stay back and accompany Wang Xining, but she insisted that we go home first. Feeling responsible for opening the door that led to this trouble, I didn't leave. Instead, I went to a nearby restaurant, ordered 2 dishes, and brought them back to eat with Wang Xining. When Wang Xining saw me return, was momentarily surprised. She didn't say anything as I set the food down. I said, "Sissing, you haven't eaten all day, have a bit to fill your stomach." After arranging the food, I poured her a cup of warm water. Perhaps my gestures touched her because she proceeded to share the love story between her and Kong Jianing. As it turns out, when Kong Jianing and Wang Xining met, they both had existing families. Kong Jianing was captivated by Wang Xining and began persistent pursuit, waiting for her after work every day at the ready-to-wear shop. Initially, Wang Xining politely declined. However, being a married woman pursued by a man like this fulfilled her vanity. So occasionally, she went out for drinks and meals with Kong Jianing. At that time, Wang Xining's ex-husband was frequently away on business, returning only once every 6 months. Perhaps feeling lonely guarding an empty house, Wang Xining and Kong Jianing unexpectedly ended up spending a night together after a casual drink. From that point on, things spiraled out of control between them. Eventually, Wang Xining's ex-husband returned early from a business trip, hoping to surprise her. However, what he found behind the door was a shocking sight: 2 lumps of flesh without any joy. Surprisingly, Wang Xining's ex-husband loved her deeply. Instead of asking for a divorce, he said to her, "Cut ties with him. Let's live our lives together. I'll be transferred back in half a year. If you feel lonely, come live with me." Touched by his words, Wang Xining agreed to sever ties with Kong Jianing. However, when she went to break up with Kong Jianing, it turned into another intimate encounter. After the passion faded, Wang Xining went home and took the initiative to ask for a divorce from her ex-husband. Finishing this part of the story, Wang Xining told me, "I'm fortunate. Both my ex-husband and Kong Jianing treated me well. After marrying my ex-husband, he took care of everything big and small at home. He even hired a housekeeper because he didn't want me to do housework." Curious, I asked, "He treated you so well, why did you divorce him?" Then, I silently added in my mind, "Kong Jianing treated you well, yet you became the third party?" Wang Xining smiled and said, "You're still young, you don't understand. My ex-husband had a problem in that department. Initially, I thought all men were like that. It wasn't until I met Kong Jianing that I realized a woman's happiness." She then proceeded to tell me about Kong Jianing and his wife. Kong Jianing's wife was named Lei Jinan, shorter and less attractive than Wang Xining. When they first met, Kong Jianing had just started his development in the area. Lei Jinan, captivated by his appearance, persistently pursued him. When Kong Jianing refused, Lei Jinan invited him to her home. Subsequently, Lei Jinan added something to his drink, and the next day, Kong Jianing woke up to find Lei Jinan beside him. With the deed done, Lei Jinan's parents demanded that Kong Jianing take responsibility for their daughter. So, the two got married. After marriage, Lei Jinan treated Kong Jianing poorly, taking control of his salary, shouting at him, and making him do all the housework. If Kong Jianing showed any reluctance, Lei Jinan and her family would physically abuse him. Once, Kong Jianing needed a suit to attend a conference, and Lei Jinan took him to Wang Xining's house to have the suit made. This accidental meeting led to the subsequent events. When Kong Jianing and Wang Xining had their first meal together, Kong Jianing claimed he would pay, but in the end, it was Wang Xining who footed the bill. Wang Xining felt sorry for Kong Jianing, a man with no money in his pockets. Kong Jianing said to her, "If only I had met you first." After Kong Jianing and Wang Xining got together, Kong Jianing proposed a divorce to Lei Jinan. However, Lei Jinan refused and even caused a scene at Wang Xining's family shop. Neighbors gathered to watch, and Wang Xining's business plummeted. Coincidentally, the online store received orders, so Wang's family permanently closed the shop and rented a place. This move served 2 purposes: to run an online store and to avoid Lei Jinan's disturbances. As I listened to this story, a sigh escaped me, and at that moment, Wang Xining's phone rang. After an afternoon of negotiation between Kong Jianing and Lei Jinan agreed to the divorce. However, she demanded that Kong Jianing pay 100,000 yuan upfront and provide 3,000 yuan in child support each month because they had a daughter with ABO hemolytic disease. Wang Xining agreed without hesitation, telling me, "This child is like a black hole, constantly in and out of the hospital. Sooner or later, she will drain the entire Lei family." Considering the substantial number of orders from the online store, the 100,000 yuan didn't seem like much. A week later, Kong Jianing returned with the divorce certificate. He looked thinner, and there were bruises on his face. Perhaps he felt embarrassed, thinking we knew about his misdeeds. In the second week after his return, the 2 other girls and I were all dismissed. Feeling apologetic, Wang Xining gave us an extra month's salary and treated us to a farewell dinner. Not long after we sat down, a woman barged in. Before I could see clearly, she grabbed Wang Xining's hair, forcing her to the ground. The scene was chaotic, with Wang Xining losing a handful of hair, and the woman's face was battered. Through her furious accusations, I deduced that this woman was Lei Jinan, Kong Jianing's ex-wife. Our meal was interrupted, and we ended up at the police station. Because Lei Jinan was the one who initiated the violence, Wang Xining wanted her detained. However, Kong Jianing, in front of the police, said, "If she goes in, there'll be no one to take care of my daughter. She'll have to come to our house." In the end, they settled the matter privately. I couldn't help but feel that Kong Jianing was a selfish man. When Wang Xining was being attacked, he merely stood by and watched. It's been 10 years since that incident, and I've since married and had a child. 6 months after leaving Wang's online store, I came across Wang Xining's wedding photos on my social media. Later on, she never updated her space again, and I haven't heard any news about them. As I embarked on my own married life, dealing with its ups and downs, I began to sympathize more with Lei Jinan. In reality, there is no fairy tale love. Married couples support each other in the journey of life. If two married individuals can abandon their families and hypocritically talk about love, it's nothing more than a charade draped in the splendid cloak of love, engaging in deceptive actions. The ironic truth is that in this world, it's often the newcomers who laugh, and the ones with history who cry. I hope that everyone can lead a happy life and avoid encountering such melodramatic situations.